Hello everyone, welcome back to my drawing channel. It's always nice to see you back again. And if you're new here, my name is Annie and I welcome you to my drawing channel. Grab a cup of tea or a coffee, grab some snacks and let's dive in today's video. Let's go. A lot of things happened recently, mostly about this channel, but like a few tiny things in real life as well. I'm a little bit overwhelmed, to be frank with you, to be completely honest, but never stop going forward, as they say. So here today I'm going to draw a little zoom in art of the character from my previous video. This week is going to be a fun art week. You've seen my star spirit from a previous video, so today I decided to make close-up look onto her eyes and a little starry freckles that she has on her face, because on a full body character art you cannot really showcase details that much, especially if you're choosing a small format paper like I did. My paper last video was like smaller than an A4 because it was square, so imagine an A4 paper and just cutting it out to square format. That's pretty much the real size of the painting. So here drawing is even smaller. It's A6 format, so it's like A4 cut in half and then again in half, and it's more like a card. And I love using smaller papers from time to time. Like, my art is a lot about going through phases or like cycles. Some cycle is a close-up, like I love to draw super zoomed in things like eyes or lips or facial features, or some detailed things like maybe a super detailed outfit. And then some days I'm just drawing full body character with less details, like way less details. So today is the phase one, the obsession over zoomed in details. I've made a little sketch beforehand to kind of mark out the location of the eyes, but the rest you can see me drawing right out here, because I felt like it would be okay to make this drawing like that. What do you think? Should I sketch everything from scratch on the video, or should I just go on and prepare sketches beforehand? Because for the pipeline, for me, like, I could do both, but it's a little easier for me to prepare sketches beforehand. But if you guys want to see me more drawing from scratch and like seeing the whole full process of how I find the actual proportions or how I find ideas, let me know in the comments and I will try to make more of those kind of videos. Because I like to color and to line out things. They don't require too much creativity in the moment, or like I can improvise at least. For sketching out it requires more brain work, if that's a correct naming for that, because I have to scroll through a lot of references and kind of think of the actual idea and then try it out and maybe make some thumbnails to see what could be the possible composition for more complex arts, or like what could be the details for the outfit, for example, if I'm designing an outfit. So the process is way more complicated than some of you may think. I'm not just sitting at the table and then instantly starting to draw. No, it's way more complicated than it seems on the first glance. So for this type of art, doesn't require too much of creativeness because it's just like facial close-up. It does require some thinking, like what could be the angle of the face, for example. But here I'm just going with the front face without any complicated angles, because sometimes if you want to draw another angle of the face, you can struggle. At least I do. Sometimes I struggle with 3/4 turn. It makes the face look asymmetrical, so it can be challenging to get those proportions right. But here, if you're drawing like a front face, a straight angle, if that's a correct name, it doesn't require too much brain work, let's say. So when I'm done with the sketch, I'm going straight to line out details and the face shape with slightly darker line art with my dark brown fine liner. And for the hair and the rest of the details, I'm going in with the slightly lighter colors and then adding more different colored markers so it will pop out naturally. Like sometimes you need line art to make things pop out, but this case here you can just add more details to certain points and it will naturally attract more focus of the eye of the watcher. At least that's what works for me. Everything you see here is a result of a trial and error for me because I never finished any art school. I just drew from my childhood because I really enjoyed it. And at some point I just started to draw more and then I practiced more and yeah, naturally kind of got a lot of tools and tried out a lot of tutorials out there. Shout out to all the artists that are doing tutorials for noobs like me. So here I'm going in with my base colors for the skin and trying to fill in big sectors as fast as possible. I'm struggling a lot with big sectors because if it has more line details in between those sectors, like if there is something that is dividing sectors to smaller ones, it's way easier for me to color them smoothly without seams. But here as a close-up, it's a bit harder to do it. So on the shaded areas you cannot really see that because firstly I'm going with multiple layers and this also helps to smooth things out, but on a bigger sector like the whole face, if you look at it, you see a little unevenness in the coloring, but that's what also gives the drawing this cozy traditional art media feeling, because as you can see I'm always using a traditional media. I'm not much into a digital art, although I do have a tablet and I enjoy doing digital art a lot, but traditional media gives me more relaxation and I kind of like the process and noises that are around me when I'm doing it and the feeling in my hands. I don't know, maybe that's my OCD or whatever. I don't have any diagnosis, by the way, I'm just it just feels like an OCD thing. And boom comes the coloring on the hair. Yeah, remember I said there's a lot of things happening in the technical part of the channel, so yeah, that's one of it. Apparently my camera just decided to go on vacation in the middle of my drawing process, so but when I realized it was too late, the color just appears magically here, but believe me, it wasn't AI art. I just filled it in behind the scenes. It's nothing too complicated. You just go in with the color and fill up the whole space like you would with anything like a paint or whatever, or pencil. Just like I'm filling eyes here, so it's similar but a bit bigger sector. And for here it's a bit easier, so you can go with bigger strokes because they can look a little messy. And how I color it is I'm trying to go with the form, like the object volume. Like if you think in a 3D way, you assume where the shadow would fall with the lights that you're using. I always have this thought in mind that there is a light source somewhere. In this case, it's going a little bit in front and to the left because I left a little of light on her left side of the hair. So I'm keeping this in mind when I'm doing the shadow and light and highlights. And her face is not too much shaded right now. I'm going to come back to that and add more shadows with the markers and pencils. With markers, there is a little trick, or like it may seem a little tricky, because when you're actually putting the color on the paper, it seems slightly darker than the actual pigment because it's wet, because of the alcohol. So as soon as this alcohol evaporates, sort of, the natural pigment starts to look lighter. So make sure to swatch your markers on a similar or same type of paper that you're using for your drawing. That's my little tip for you if you need it. I usually do that before I land a marker on a drawing. It helps me to figure out how the coloring will look and not to ruin an actual drawing. I'm so obsessed with drawing these little details. And the stars, they're so cute, and I love freckles. I found out I had some freckles after I moved countries with a lot of climate change, because in my current country it's way hotter than back home. So when we moved here, it was so funny to see how my face started to look more freckly. So here I'm lining out little stars on her ears and the face. I'm giving it a little bit more defined outline with an orange liner, but not too dark, so it will not attract too much attention. But it would be still visible, because when I haven't done the line, you can see that it looks way more faded, and I wanted to fix that. So I went with the orange liner and made a little more details on those stars. I really like how it turns out so far. Boom, liners appear. Let's make those lashes pop out. So while I'm on it, let me tell you a little more about my other hobbies, perhaps, because why talk always about the art? For my other hobbies, I used to do music. I used to do piano, so I was studying in a music school. Firstly, I was singing in a small singing school or vocal school. I'm not sure that's correct name anyway. But I started as a singer at 3 years old age, and then at around 7 or 8 years old, I went to a music school to study piano, and I really enjoyed it from the start, and I loved my teachers and everything was fun. Then I ended up going to a high school of music in another city, and I switched at some point from a pianist degree to a piano tuner, so I have a piano tuner degree. Everything regarding piano I'm kind of aware of, not only history, the playing, but actual piano tech and stuff. And it was very fun to study, and it was just few of us, like 3 people on the whole course, but it was so much fun. Like all of our teachers were like so chill, and they were all very helpful and friendly and stuff. It was a good time. And then I was also dreaming about getting into martial arts for a long time, and a few years before, like maybe 2-3 years ago, I started going for a ninjutsu martial arts classes. That may sound like something weird, but that's actually super fun. It's like a mixed martial arts, and it has cool part about discipline, history, because it's an actual art that has been used as a warfare in old Japan and China. And I learned a lot from my teacher and other students. The community is also very nice and very fun. I was actually very happy to get into that. Another hobby of mine is going to gym. It's like light hobby. It's not that I'm super obsessed about it. It's just I'm doing it for health and to feel better. And I guess if you get to my age, you will know what I'm talking about. I remember in my younger days, I was doing a lot of different stuff like crafting, origami, some handcrafting and some crocheting, and then some beads, and then cross-stitching, like all of it. I did it, and I had like a bunch of hobby stuff stored in my home. But at some point I just stopped everything. Like I was obsessed about one thing, then I stopped it, and then I got into a new thing, and then just jumping from one to another thing. I also sculpted a little bit from polymer clay. It was also much fun. Then I also did some cosplaying, especially when I got into anime more. I visited some conventions with my amateur cosplays. I didn't do anything crazy. Like I did Kakashi Sensei's cosplay because it's a masked character and anyone can cosplay that. And I also did Yunogasai character cosplay. I might have a fan art later for you. Hint, hint, wink, wink, no spoilers. So yeah, I had a lot of different hobbies, but so far art got my heart for longest, if we don't count piano, because I'm not really playing anymore. Just a little bit for fun, but like not professionally. I thought that I would be a professional pianist by this time, but life happened. Anyway, I'm adding some final touches to the drawing to give it a little more fun textures, more stars, more stripes, more highlights. Here is the final result. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and it will help promote this video to recommendations, and I am appreciating every bit of support you give to me. Also, I would love to hear your ideas, so please drop them in the comments so I can look through. If you'd like to see more of my artwork, please subscribe to this channel and I will see you in my next videos. Bye bye!